Envision watching your colleague receive the promotion you desperately wanted. Picture scrolling through social media, seeing friends vacation in exotic locations while you sit in your cramped apartment. Feel that familiar tightness in your chest as someone younger, less experienced, achieves the success that eludes you. That burning sensation crawling up your spine, that's jealousy, and it's slowly destroying you. The ancient Roman philosopher Seneca understood this corrosive emotion better than almost anyone in history. As advisor to Emperor Nero, one of Rome's most infamous tyrants, Seneca witnessed jealousy at its most destructive. He saw how envy drove people to betrayal, murder, and ultimately their own ruin. Yet Seneca discovered something remarkable. Jealousy, properly understood and redirected, could become one of your most powerful tools for personal transformation. This isn't about suppressing feelings or pretending they don't exist. This is about a radical reimagining of what jealousy means and how you can harness its energy. Seneca's Stoic wisdom offers a path not just to survive jealousy, but to transform it into rocket fuel for your own excellence. Let's explore how a philosopher who lived over 2,000 years ago holds the keys to conquering one of humanity's most persistent demons. The nature of the green-eyed monster. Before we can transform jealousy, we must understand what it truly is. Seneca and the Stoics recognized jealousy as one of the 4 primary passions that contribute to human misery, alongside fear, distress, and excessive pleasure. They classified jealousy under distress, a particularly insidious form of self-inflicted suffering. Jealousy operates like a poison that we willingly drink while hoping someone else will die. Think about that for a moment. When you're jealous of your neighbor's new car, your cousin's perfect marriage, or your former classmate's thriving business, who actually suffers? Not them. They're enjoying their success, completely unaware of your inner turmoil. You're the one lying awake at night, your mind churning with resentment and comparison. You're the one feeling inadequate, diminished, somehow less than you were before you learned of their good fortune. The writer Walker Percy captured jealousy's distorting power brilliantly when he observed that jealousy alters the very shape of time itself. Time loses its structure. Time stretches out. We become so consumed by envious thoughts that we lose the ability to think of anything else. Our chest tightens. Every other track in our mind stops except this one obsessive loop of comparison and resentment. Joseph Epstein once quipped that of all the sins, envy is the only one that isn't any fun. Think about it. Gluttony gives you the pleasure of eating. Lust provides physical gratification. Even wrath offers a cathartic release. But jealousy? It offers nothing but pure, unadulterated suffering. It's insanity masquerading as emotion. Seneca identified jealousy as fundamentally irrational, a faulty judgment about reality rather than a reasonable response to circumstances. This insight is revolutionary because it means jealousy isn't something that happens to you, it's something you create through mistaken beliefs about what matters and where your happiness comes from. The root of all envy. Seneca wrote extensively in his moral letters to Lucilius about the source of jealousy. He argued that envy springs from focusing on what you lack rather than appreciating what you have. More fundamentally, jealousy arises when we measure our worth and happiness by external things, wealth, status, appearance, possessions, rather than by internal qualities like virtue, wisdom, and character. He stated simply, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." Read that again. Poverty isn't about what you have, it's about what you desire. Someone with modest means who is content with their life is richer than a millionaire consumed by envy of billionaires. The Stoics taught that we have virtually no control over external circumstances. You cannot control whether your colleague gets promoted. You cannot control if your friend inherits wealth. You cannot control if someone more talented enters your field. These are what the Stoics called preferred indifference, things that are nice to have but fundamentally don't determine your capacity for happiness or virtue. What you can control completely is your internal state, your judgments, your values, your responses, your character development. This is the domain of true power. Yet most people, as Seneca observed, spend their lives anxiously grasping at externals while neglecting the only thing that actually belongs to them, their own mind and virtue. Seneca wrote, "You need not be envious of those whom the people call great and fortunate. Applause need not disturb your composed attitude and your sanity of mind. You need not become disgusted with your calm spirit because you see a great man clothed in purple, protected by the well-known symbols of authority. You need not judge the magistrate for whom the road is cleared to be any happier than yourself." This is profound. The person with wealth, power, and recognition isn't necessarily happier than you. In fact, Seneca knew from intimate experience that those at the heights of power often suffer the most. As Nero's advisor, he witnessed firsthand how emperors and senators, despite their vast resources, were plagued by fear, paranoia, and emptiness. The illusion of comparison. One of jealousy's most insidious tricks is the way it forces us into constant comparison. From childhood, we're trained to compete. Siblings compete for parental attention. Students compete for grades. Professionals compete for promotions. This competitive mindset becomes so ingrained that we automatically measure our worth against others. But Seneca offers a liberating truth. You are neither your property nor your accomplishments. He wrote, "I am richer than you, therefore my property is greater than yours. I am more eloquent than you, therefore my style is better than yours. But you, after all, are neither property nor style." Your bank account doesn't define you. Your job title doesn't define you. Your social media followers don't define you. These are externals that can be lost at any moment. The only thing that truly defines you is your character, how you respond to circumstances, whether you live according to your values, how you treat others, and whether you are making genuine progress towards wisdom and virtue. Moreover, comparison is fundamentally flawed because we never see the complete picture. When you envy someone's success, you're seeing only what they've gained, not what they've sacrificed. Seneca compared this to seeing the tip of an iceberg while remaining ignorant of the massive structure beneath the surface. That influencer you envy, they might be struggling with crippling anxiety, unable to form authentic relationships because everyone wants something from them. That wealthy executive, perhaps they've sacrificed their health, their family relationships, and their peace of mind in the pursuit of status. The person in the seemingly perfect marriage, you don't see the compromises, the difficult conversations, the work required to maintain that relationship. As Seneca wisely noted, the person you feel jealous of has sacrificed something in order to attain the thing you desire. You have not made the same sacrifice, and hence should not complain about not being in the same position. Turning jealousy into fuel. Here's where Seneca's wisdom becomes truly transformative. Rather than viewing jealousy as purely destructive, he recognized it could serve as a diagnostic tool, a signal that reveals something important about your values and aspirations. When jealousy strikes, Seneca would advise you to pause and ask, "What is this jealousy teaching me about what I truly desire?" Is this desire aligned with virtue, or is it driven by ego and comparison? If you're jealous of someone's wealth, examine whether money itself would truly make you happier, or whether you're chasing an illusion. If you're envious of someone's recognition, ask whether you genuinely care about the work itself or merely about the applause. Importantly, not all jealousy is meaningless. Sometimes, jealousy reveals a genuine aspiration that deserves your attention. If you feel envious watching someone speak eloquently, perhaps that signals a desire to develop your own communication skills. If someone's disciplined fitness routine triggers envy, maybe that's your deeper self calling you to prioritize your health. The key is using jealousy as inspiration rather than letting it become resentment. Seneca and the Stoics distinguished between these two responses. One person sees someone else's achievement and thinks, they don't deserve that. Life is unfair. I should have what they have. Another person sees the same achievement and thinks, that's impressive. What can I learn from their approach? How can I develop similar qualities? The first response leads to bitterness and paralysis. The second leads to growth and action. Same initial emotion, radically different outcome. Seneca encouraged his friend Lucilius to view others' achievements not with resentment, but with appreciation and curiosity. When you see someone displaying virtue, patience in adversity, courage in difficult circumstances, wisdom in decision-making, that should inspire you to develop those same qualities. This type of envy is actually admiration, and it's not only healthy, but essential for moral progress. The practice of amor fati. One of Stoicism's most powerful concepts for dealing with jealousy is amor fati, love of fate. This doesn't mean passive resignation. It means embracing your own path completely, with all its unique challenges and opportunities, rather than wishing you were living someone else's life. Seneca taught his friend Lucilius that comparing your circumstances to others is fundamentally irrational, because each person faces completely different conditions. You weren't born into the same family, given the same opportunities, blessed with the same talents, or faced with the same obstacles. The universe doesn't distribute advantages fairly, and railing against this reality only increases your suffering. Consider two scenarios from the biblical story of Cain and Abel. When God accepted Abel's offering but rejected Cain's, Cain could have responded two ways. He could have used his jealousy destructively, which is what he did, murdering his brother, or he could have used it constructively, examining why Abel's offering was superior and striving to improve his own offerings. Seneca would say that life's unfairness doesn't influence your ability to be happy. He wrote, "Come now, contrast a good man who is rolling in wealth with a man who has nothing except that in himself he has all things. They will be equally good, though they experience unequal fortune." A virtuous person remains virtuous whether rich or poor, healthy or sick, praised or criticized. External circumstances can make life more or less comfortable, but they cannot make you more or less good as a person. Only your choices do that. Practical wisdom for daily life. Seneca didn't just theorize about jealousy, he provided practical strategies for managing it. Let's explore how to apply his wisdom in your daily life. First, practice radical self-focus. Not in a selfish way, but in redirecting energy you waste comparing yourself to others toward improving yourself. Every moment spent envying someone is a moment stolen from your own development. As Epictetus, another Stoic philosopher, taught, you may be unconquerable if you enter into no combat in which it is not in your own control to conquer. Stop competing in games where victory depends on factors outside your control. You can't control if you're the most talented person in your field. You can control whether you maximize your own talents. You can't control if others achieve more recognition. You can control whether you do work that aligns with your values. Second, cultivate gratitude as jealousy's antidote. Seneca observed that we suffer more from imagination than reality. When jealousy strikes, deliberately shift focus to what you have, not as a dismissal of legitimate aspirations, but as a reminder that comparison blinds you to your own blessings. If you find yourself envious of someone's success, take time to inventory your own advantages. Perhaps you have deeper friendships, more time with family, better health, more freedom, or simply peace of mind that the person you envy lacks. Every life contains a unique mix of advantages and challenges. Third, practice empathy toward those you envy. Remember that everyone struggles, regardless of outward appearances. Behind every success story are failures, doubts, and challenges you cannot see. The Stoics taught that recognizing our shared humanity dissolves resentment. As Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher, emperor, and fellow Stoic, advised, "Say to yourself in the early morning, I shall meet today ungrateful, violent, treacherous, envious, uncharitable men." He continued that all these faults come from ignorance of real good and evil, and that therefore he cannot be harmed by them, nor can he be angry with them. Fourth, examine your values rigorously. Seneca urged us to question whether our desires are truly aligned with what matters. Are you jealous of material possessions that would actually enslave you to maintaining them? Are you envious of fame that would destroy your privacy and peace? Often, careful examination reveals that what we think we want would actually make us less happy. Fifth, use jealousy as a meditation on impermanence. Everything you envy in others is temporary. Wealth can be lost, beauty fades, fame is fleeting, power is precarious. The only thing that endures is character, and character cannot be taken from you, only abandoned by you. Seneca frequently reminded Lucilius of life's brevity. We are dying every day. This isn't morbid, but liberating. If you might die tomorrow, is jealousy really how you want to spend your time? When you zoom out and view jealousy from this wider perspective, its absurdity becomes clear. The ultimate freedom. Seneca's most radical teaching about jealousy is this: true freedom comes from wanting what you already have and being who you already are, or more precisely, wanting to develop the potential that already exists within you. He wrote, "Virtue is free, inviolable, not to be moved, not to be shaken, and so hardened against misfortunes that she cannot be bent, let alone overcome by them." This is power that jealousy cannot touch. Someone can take your possessions, your position, your reputation. They cannot take your virtue unless you surrender it. The path Seneca outlined isn't easy. It requires constant vigilance because jealousy is hardwired into human psychology. But the alternative, allowing jealousy to consume your peace, poison your relationships, and waste your potential, is far worse. Consider what you could accomplish if you redirected the energy you currently spend on jealousy towards self-improvement. Imagine the person you could become if you focused on developing your own unique strengths rather than resenting others' advantages. Think about how your relationships would transform if you genuinely celebrated others' successes rather than secretly resenting them. Seneca never claimed to be a sage, a perfectly wise person, and neither should you. He placed himself in a third category: people making moral progress. not perfect, but continually striving to be better by following right judgment and developing virtue. This striving itself is the good life. Jealousy is perhaps the most universal human experience. We all feel it. The question is what we do with it. Seneca offers a choice. Let jealousy destroy you from within, or transform it into the catalyst for your greatest growth. His wisdom can be distilled into a few core principles. Focus on what you can control: your responses, your values, your character. Recognize that external things don't determine your happiness or worth. Use jealousy as diagnostic information about your aspirations, then redirect that energy towards self-improvement. Practice gratitude for your unique path. Develop empathy for others' struggles. Embrace amor fati. Love your own fate rather than coveting someone else's. When jealousy strikes, and it will, remember Seneca's teaching that the emotion reveals faulty judgment, not reality. Your worth isn't diminished by someone else's success. Your path isn't invalidated by someone else's advantages. Your potential isn't limited by comparison to others. The irony is that by ceasing to measure yourself against others and focusing instead on becoming your best self, you'll likely achieve more than you would have through jealous striving. As Seneca observed, when you pursue virtue and strengthen your own faculties, external success often follows, not because you grasp for it, but because you've become the kind of person worthy of it. More importantly, you'll achieve something far more valuable than any external achievement: inner peace, freedom from the tyranny of comparison, the ability to genuinely celebrate others' good fortune because it doesn't threaten your own, contentment with your unique journey. This is Seneca's ultimate gift. Not the elimination of jealousy, which may be impossible, but its transformation from your greatest weakness into your greatest advantage, from poison into medicine, from obstacle into opportunity.